Every time I turn around,
He keeps on healing me.
He keeps on healing me.
Every time.
Every time I turn around,
Favoring me.
He keeps on favoring me.
Come on, all the choir here, say, I'm blessed. I'm blessed. Thank God.
Thank God I'm blessed.
Come on, say it again. I'm blessed. Thank God. Thank God.
Thank God I'm blessed.
Come on, let's say it again from the top. Come on.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Church Guys Like Sports. Listen, I need you to share this.
Say it.
Tell all the sports fans we are on.
Thank you, Lord.
He keeps on healing me.
Can I get one witness?
Every time I turn around,
Yeah.
He keeps on favoring me.
Oh, I'm blessed. Yes, I am. Thank God.
God I'm blessed.
Can't believe the goodness that I am. Yeah. Thank God. Come on, I need you to grab somebody and tell them this. He keeps on blessing me. Keeps on blessing me.
Blessing me
Over and over.
and over again.
Welcome to Church Guys Like Sports. Look, I ain't gonna be on long. I need y'all to come on real quick. We gotta hit it and quit it, y'all. Come on, if you like that, bop your head real quick.
Over and over. I'm blessed in the city. Yes, I am. Over and over. When I think of His goodness, all He's done for me.
Come on in, come on in.
Blessing me. Over and over. He blessed me. Oh. Yes, sir. Yes, He did, Lord. What a mighty God we serve.
All right, y'all, here we go. Church Guys Like Sports, welcome. What's up, Dr. Chris Burton? What's up, all the people that watch? Bishop McCants, Sister TT, Fisher. Listen, we got some stuff to talk about. And as you can see, I have on my Patrick Ewing jersey. And I could not wait. I had to get to this. I could not wait. I have on my Ewing jersey, and something transpired last night, or yesterday rather, at the Knicks game. Well, not at the Knicks game. Let's get that straight. Not at the Knicks game, but at a game at Madison Square Garden. Something transpired. And first, I'm going to just get straight to it. Patrick Ewing. The Patrick Ewing, number 33 that hangs in the rafters. He was at Madison Square Garden, and they are asking him for his pass, his hall pass, his credentials, and all of these things like that. Now, I am upset about that, but I am not upset with the Knicks. Neither am I upset with James Dolan, because this was not a Knick game. This was not even an NBA event. This is the Big East tournament, which Patrick Ewing is a coach for Georgetown. So there's a difference between this and Charles Oakley. There's a difference between this and Spike Lee. So we got to pump our brakes on throwing the Knicks under the bus for this. Charles Oakley got thrown out of a New York Knicks game. Spike Lee got escorted out into another area of the Garden at a New York Knicks game. But even if you going in there for a gospel concert. Everybody that works security in Madison Square Garden should know who Patrick Ewing is. Everybody that works in Madison Square Garden MSG should know who Patrick Ewing is. How are you working? Now, they wasn't working for the Knicks, but they're working for Madison Square Garden. And you don't know who Patrick Ewing is. Explain that to me. You don't know who Patrick Ewing is. How many Jamaican 7-footers just walking up and down Madison Square Garden hallways? And I can't blame I blame these young buck security guards. I call them aggravated adjutants and bootleg security. Listen to this.
I thought this was my building, and I feel terrible that I'm getting stopped, accosted, asking for passes. Everybody in this building should know who the hell I am. And I'm getting stopped. I can't move around this building. Like I was like, what the hell? Is this Madison Square Garden? I'm going to have to call Mr. Dolan and say, geez, is my number in the rafters or what?
If my number in the rafters or what? Is my numbers in the rafters or what? You mean to tell me you work in security at Madison Square Garden and you don't know who Patrick Ewing is? All you got to do is look up. If I was Patrick Ewing, I would go, you know what? Let my number be in the rafters at Madison Square Garden. I'm going to walk through there with pink bell bottoms on and high and pink big black Timberlands on with a pimp hat on with let my number be. I just go in there and point. Look up. That's me. Look. That's my name. Don't you ask me for no pass and my name is in the rafters. Don't you ask me for no pass, no credentials, and my name is hanging up on the banners. The devil is a liar. That's like Bishop Charles Mason, thank you, Burton, walking in the AIM convention. And they tell Bishop Charles Mason that he cannot, that he can't go somewhere at the AIM convention. And you know what? I've experienced this foolishness. I've experienced this dumbness because I've seen, I go to the GMWA every here and there, and sometimes you got dumb security folk that don't know who folks are. And I seen one of these security guys, Bishop Jameson is over the GMWA, been over it for about 30 years now. I seen one of these security guys asking Jameson, say, oh, you can't come through this entrance. That thing stopped so quick. Them folks said, oh, no, don't talk to him. He's the president of this. He's old. You can't tell somebody that's so deeply connected to something where they can and cannot go. You don't do that to Patrick Ewing. And whoever this security is, they need to be fired right now. I don't care. Oh, well, they might be too young. Well, if you young, you better do your history. Now, there's a difference between what happened to Spike Lee and what happened to Charles Oakley. First thing, those were done, and those were much worse. Those orders came down from the top. James Dolan told them to escort Charles Oakley out of the building because he was upset with him for whatever reason. James Dolan sent word to Spike Lee's team that he can no longer come in through that entrance. So James Dolan is at fault for those. But this is a Big East tournament. James Dolan ain't even in the building. This ain't got nothing to do with the Knicks, but it got to do with the building, Madison Square Garden. And you cannot hire people that don't know the history of your building. You cannot hire people that don't know the pedigree. How you gonna work at Madison Square Garden? I don't care if you selling hot dogs. You ought to know who Patrick Ewing is. That's the biggest 7-foot black Jamaican you ever see in Madison Square Garden. Patrick Ewing holds all of the New York Knicks record, all of them: scoring, rebounding, blocks, steals, most field goals. And I'm not coming for the Knicks. I'm coming for that horrible security. I can't blame Dolan for this, because Dolan is a billionaire. He's a multi-billionaire, so he ain't hiring a security staff. He hires the president of security. He hires the president of because the same security for a Knick game is the security for Big East tournament. The same security for a Big East tournament is the security for a gospel concert. I know that because I've been in Madison Square Garden for 3 different events. I've been there for a gospel concert. I've been there for a Liberty game. I've been there for a Knicks game. I've been there for a Rangers game. The same security for MSG is security all around. So that's not New York Knicks security. That's the MSG security. And James Dolan ain't got time to be worrying about that. Whoever is the president of security, James Dolan should fire him. He should fire him, because you don't bother Patrick Ewing, of all players. And I know they say it's time for Dolan to go, but Dolan ain't going nowhere, because the Knicks are doing good. If I got to say one thing about Dolan, he got out the way and he let Leon Rose and them boys do what they need to do with the Knicks. I ain't even seen Dolan all year. I ain't seen him at no games. I want James Dolan to stay far away. We don't need his presence. All we need is his money. He's the money man. You be the money man and stay way over there. So Charles, the thing with Charles Oakley was dirty. That was nasty. That was filmed. They physically trying to throw him out. They physically arrested him, put him in jail. So what happened with Ewing is different, but it should not have happened. And they said, well, they word on the street that it was a young security guard that wasn't around. He was like in his 20s. He's in his 20s or something. So he don't remember what Patrick Ewing, he don't know nothing about Patrick Ewing. Look up in the rafters. His number 33, that's who he is. If I was Patrick Ewing, I wouldn't say nothing. I would just point up. Right there. That's who I am. Right there. Somebody got to get fired for this. And they you don't want nobody to lose their job. Look, you hassling Patrick Ewing. And that's just like these Kojic conventions and stuff, all this foolishness and all this stupid stuff. I remember my father, we would go to the convocation. And we wasn't one to be, wearing our badge all in the front. We registered, but we ain't gonna be wearing no badge, messing up our suit. I ain't putting no badge on this. My father wouldn't put no badge on no $1,000 suit. You kidding me? So he was going somewhere, and I don't know how, but somebody didn't recognize him. They didn't know, and they said, "Sir, you can't come in through here." Iris Stevenson sent somebody over there so quick. He said, "That's Reverend Timothy Wright. The songs we singing tonight are his songs." No. And he know that fella no longer worked that door. He didn't even work the door. They sat him down somewhere, because certain faces you should know. Certain people you should know. And you cannot tell me, I don't care how old you are, you going to tell me you don't know who Patrick Ewing is? Patrick Ewing got to explain himself to you of who he is? Shame on Madison Square Garden security. Shame on them. And something needs to be done with the security. Now, again, I'm not coming for the Knicks, because we must realize this was not a Knick game. If this was a Knick game and Ewing is being hassled at a Knick game, that's even worse. But Ewing is being hassled at a Big East tournament. Matter of fact, the Big East tournament need to come under some fire, because the Big East tournament wouldn't be the Big East tournament had it not been for you. Patrick Ewing was one of the biggest stars. If you go back 30 years, go back 40 years. Patrick Ewing was one of the biggest stars in the Big East with Georgetown. That Georgetown team with Patrick Ewing and John Thompson coaching was one of the best college teams ever. So the Big East tournament need to come under some fire for this. Because had this been a Knicks game, we'd be coming for the Knicks. But I want to go at the Big East tournament. They take some blame in this. You mean to tell me y'all don't know who Patrick Ewing is? And shout out to Georgetown. And some of y'all that y'all only know Patrick Ewing from the Knicks. Patrick Ewing was a star with Georgetown in college. That's right. I'm Rick James. I can't say that on Church Guys Like Sports. So shout out to the Knicks, because, I'm waiting for a statement. Well, the Knicks can't really make a statement because it had nothing to do with them. That's why you haven't heard from the Knicks. But Madison Square Garden needs to make a statement and make an adjustment. And again, these are different than Spike Lee and Charles Oakley. Spike Lee and Charles Oakley got put out of Knicks games. That should never happen. Now that James Dolan should have gotten his butt kicked for that. I'm Patrick Ewing. That's what he just should have said. Now, again, I'm all New York Knicks. You know that. But these Brooklyn Nets, I got to talk about the Brooklyn Nets, y'all. Kyrie Irving is balling. These Brooklyn Nets are balling. And I got to tell you, it's looking real good for the Brooklyn Nets to come out the East. If the Knicks don't come out the East, I know the Knicks lost last night, but that's all-star game fatigue. That's all that is. But these Brooklyn Nets, Kyrie is balling, James Harden is balling, and Kevin Durant ain't even got there yet. Did you hear me? I said Kevin Durant ain't even got there yet. He ain't doing nothing yet. So I know we got some Laker fans in Lakerland. But if the Lakers make it to the finals and they got to play the Nets, I got my chips on the Brooklyn Nets. You hear me? Them Brooklyn Nets ain't playing with nobody. Yeah, I'm with that. Harden come, and then they get Blake Griffin. Now they got Blake Griffin. And I don't hate the Nets. I'll rock with the Nets, but I'm number one with the Knicks. But I wouldn't be mad if the Brooklyn Nets won a chip. It's still New York. I'm rocking with my Knicks, but them Brooklyn Nets look real good. They look mighty good. Let me talk about football for a minute before I get on out of here. Mr. Cam Newton, that's his name. That's what we call him. Cam Newton has signed a 1-year deal for $14 million for the New England Patriots. Now let me say this. I love the black quarterbacks. What black quarterbacks are doing now this day is amazing. But y'all tell me, who's better, Cam Newton or Dak Prescott? Let's say this. Cam Newton's been to the Super Bowl. Cam Newton was the NFL MVP. Dak Prescott only been to the playoff once, I believe. Dak Prescott ain't got Dallas to the playoff the last 2-3 years. Dak Prescott's getting $40 million next year. Cam Newton getting $14 million. Something is wrong with that. And you know, I know Cam might not be what he used to be, but and I'm not I'm not a big fan of Cam Newton off the field because he got all that girly stuff going on. But the man was a good football player, and I believe he still is. Dak didn't deserve no $40 million. I don't care what nobody say. Dak don't deserve more money than Russell Wilson, than Aaron Rodgers. You give me a choice right now, I'll take Aaron Rodgers over Dak Prescott any day. And Cam should have got more than $14 million. Last year, he only got $2 million. Cam should have got at least $25 million. If Dak Prescott gonna get $40 million, oh, come on, y'all. If Dak Prescott gonna get $40 million, Cam Newton ought to get at least 25, 30. And Dak got this coming off of a leg. Dak Prescott leg went like this. Boop. That's what his leg said this. And he getting $40 million. I know I'm right, Sam. I know you love him. Cam should get much more than $14 million. And then $6 million of that is all incentives. If he don't do this, if he don't do that, he don't get some. So it could only end up being an $8 million contract. And Cam, and you know, what the thing is, Cam had to settle for that. Because don't nobody else want him. Now, Cam, I tried to tell you, stop wearing them women church hats to the football game. I tried to tell you to stop wearing crocheting and all that stuff. I tried to tell you stop wearing them big old scarves, them big old church mother scarves that they put over the young lady's legs, and you put it on your neck, them big old scarves. I tried to tell you, see, they don't like that stuff up there in New England. I tried to tell them to stop dressing like Mama Jenkins. But Cam can't help it. I got to be me. I got to be free. I got to show my, I tried to tell Cam, stop coming to the football game with thongs on. I tried to tell Cam, stop playing the game with, we can tell you got on a thong. You ain't got no business with no thong on the football field, Cam Newton. I tried to tell you. And now we see you can't get the big money. Meanwhile, in Tampa Bay, Florida, Mr. Tom Brady signed another extension. He gonna play longer. Tom Brady's already 87 years old. He said he's gonna play till he's 95. And they signed him to another extension. Tom Brady got to be Kojic. Because only way you won't retire is if you Kojic. Tom Brady gonna die with that football in his hand. And that's a fact. I know somebody don't like what I just said, but I said it, I'll say it again, and I'll say it backwards twice. Tom Brady got to be a Kojic preacher because he will not retire. You ain't gonna retire him. He gonna die. He gonna die with the football in his hand. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in for this quick episode of Church Guys Like Sports.
That's why Hilton, y'all. Yeah.
Remember, you can love God and love sports. Loving God doesn't take the man out of you.
Go next.
If you want to show something into this,
Church Guys Like Sports.
you can.
I can sing my song. Ain't that right, D. Right? New York. Got
shout out to the New York Knicks. We still rocking with y'all. Shame on MSG though, but we rocking with the Knicks.
New York Knicks. 1-9 973.
Breaking news. LaMarcus Aldridge is going to the Miami Heat.
Lift your head.
But I don't think LaMarcus Aldridge got nothing left in the tank. I don't think so. But he's going to the Heat. We'll see what happens in Miami. Peace.
Some doubters, some laugh at us. Some went to Brooklyn, some went to Dallas. Shout out to the true Knicks fans who stayed the course. Hope for a win even though we still lost. Shout out to Coach Tibbs and KB